Hey, what's up, guys, on YouTube? I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but just working on trying to produce publicly. And so I got my first step completed, which was a thought download. Um, I know it's on the side here, but the thought download is the idea is to get all of your thoughts down on a certain scenario so that you can kind of hone in on finding what you got going on. So with our thought download, take about 5 minutes, wrote this out. And my thought that I landed on was, I'm afraid that I will ultimately fail at being an entrepreneur. I'm afraid of that. All right. So that now we go to our CTFAR worksheet, which is where I'm at now. So the circumstance that I'm going to start with, I'm not doing a lot of explaining because this is a live stream and I I was like, hey, I'll just put on a live stream. So I'm going to work through our CTFAR worksheet here. So growing a business, my circumstance, this is something that's factual. These are things that are factual. Um, what else are they? They're neutral. There's no opinions and there's no objectives. So, or adjectives. Adjectives might mean growing a business. I'm not sure if that's an adjective because my English and grammar stuff is not great. So let's see here. Is growing an adjective? Sounds like a verb. Yeah. So adjectives. Maybe you guys on the stream or whoever watching can see if this is um, an adjective. Um, so but this is a verb. So for me, it's a verb. Um, so on the next line, so first line, circumstance, growing a business. That's my circumstance that really stood out to me right now. So as I'm growing my business, we've got some thoughts on that. And again, my main thought was I am afraid that I will ultimately fail at being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur. Right, I'm afraid of that. I don't want to fail at being an entrepreneur. It's I don't like failing in general. Failure is something that's always kept me back, and it kept me from taking risk and kept me from experiencing the full weight of what I've been brought here to do on this earth, I think, anyways. So from that thought, um, we go to feeling like, what does this thought, I'm afraid that I will fail at being an entrepreneur, what does that thought bring into mind? Well, it brings the feeling of inadequacy, um, over like it does overwhelm a little bit. Um, Disjointed. Inadequacy goes into not being good enough and those things like that. Um, so inadequacy, overwhelm, and disjointed. So then what that actions, reactions, or inactions, the behaviors, all right, that behaviors that happen because of this, the behaviors that happens because of my thought, I'm afraid that I will fail being an entrepreneur, leads to inadequacy, leads to overwhelm, leads to me being disjointed, not focused, Not finishing. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, that's so the action means leads to not finishing what I started, um, avoiding doing necessary work. Um, what other actions does this feeling lead to? Um, staying in bed, staying in bed, yeah, staying in bed. Um, scrolling, scrolling YouTube, TikTok, scrolling socials to escape. So, like escapism. Now, I'm not saying that escapism is a bad thing because we all have our ways to escape. Maybe it's just our way to veg out. Maybe it's how we decompress. And that's not a bad thing to escape. Now, if we're using this escapism over and over like a drug to um, like numb, what we're trying to avoid to, get in the way of what we're trying to avoid, then that's when escapism becomes a problem. I mean, it's just kind of like, as an adult, it's like with alcohol, like a lot of people can handle going to alcohol, but whenever they use alcohol to avoid these feelings and these thoughts, then it becomes a problem. So escapism is still, I mean, it's not good or bad. It's just how it goes. But I use socials to escape and I just keep scrolling and scrolling. So then the result of all of these things is that nothing gets done on the business and nothing and failure gets closer. As a failure gets closer to what's happening. So my unintentional thought model right there. So then we go to our intentional thought model, and I wonder if I can. Um, YouTube is not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, just checking out what this is like. Um, all right, so the intentional thought model. The intentional thought model. The circumstance. So we're going to go with the same circumstance again. We're going to go with growing a business. And again, the thought is I am afraid that I will fail at being entrepreneur. Okay. Now, the feelings, what on the intentional thought model, we get to decide the feeling that we want to live from. So we don't want to focus on obviously the vibrations that the body is giving off. We don't want to focus on inadequacy, overwhelmed, disjointed, not focused. What we want to operate and live from is a place of, like, for me, is love. And that to me is compassion, encouragement, love, compassion, encouragement, um, welcoming, can do, like a can do attitude, like can do attitude. Not this crap over here, not this inadequacy, not that you can't do it. It's just like, man, I'm just beaming with love and compassion and encouragement for others and myself. I'm welcoming those students into the classroom or the people into my life or those conversations that I have, and developing like the can-do attitude, like, so what? Like, kind of the idea, the thought is, so what, next pitch? Like, I can do this. So what, and sport analogy is, so what, the umpire makes a bad call? Like, so what? I can fix this. Can do attitude. So what? What happens? It's cold outside. So what? That whole process. So from the feeling, the positive action that is going to bring me closer to a result that I want. So the positive action after that is, after we go with our feelings, we're going to, you know, create content, create content out of that space, out of that feeling, create content. Okay. Going to, let's see, I mean, there's a lot. So I'm working through this, like the actions are like doing the thing, like just you do the thing, do the thing, do the dang thing, you got to do the dang thing. The positive action that brings us close to the result we want. So that result that we want, do the thing. If the result that I want is to have a successful or be a successful, yeah, there we go, be a successful entrepreneur. Be a successful entrepreneur. And that's the result that I want. So, kind of the idea is that, whenever we're talking about, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard this, but your thoughts become things. And so if like your thought is, I'm afraid that I will fail at being an entrepreneur, and you're being unintentional about it, then your actions are going to reinforce this thought. And so then the result that you're going to get is going to be the same thing that you were afraid of. But if you are being intentional about your feeling, or about your feelings and your thoughts, if you're being intentional about them, creating the vibrations that you want and the actions that you want, you're going to do the thing. And then that's going to fuel, that thought then fuels the result that you want to become a successful entrepreneur. So if you kind of control that process by going with that feeling, by focusing on not the inadequacy, not the overwhelm, not the disjointed, not being focused, but focusing on love, compassion, encouragement, welcoming, a can-do attitude, then that's going to lead to the action. Create content and then do the thing. That's my thing. Do the thing right there. All right. And then what this doing the thing means, it leads to me being a successful entrepreneur. So that's going to be that short video. The short video was for the thought model work. Let's see here. Thought model work. Oh, man. So I'm going to keep the stream up because, I mean, this is going to be long form content for me on the streams and all the things. So that's what I'm going to do there. And I'm not really watching the chat or anything to find out who's talking. I wish the latency, I don't know. I don't know how this is going. Let's see here. Changing the title, working, completing thought work activity on building a business. I work through the Steadfast Life program on thought work, and continuing from there. Save that. I don't know how to get this stream settings bit rate. All right, I'm going to end it for now, and I'll be back here in a little bit.